Well, it's the next day, and it's basically finished. I spent about the last hour or so applying the last few decals. I didn't do very many more to the top because they're so small that they're barely noticeable. And not to mention, I hate applying decals. Passionately, I hate applying decals. It's so tedious. Just snipping them out and trimming them and dipping them in water. You can only really work on one at a time, no matter how small they are. Anyway, so yeah, the top is finished, and now, likewise, is the bottom. I went pretty easy on it. Didn't do a whole lot of additional decals. I just added these little panels here, which I had already used the kit's decals, but likewise with all the others, they didn't really fit quite right. So I just covered them up with the decals from PNT. They're not quite the same shape. So there's a little bit of peak of the old decals peeking out in the corner, but if you don't know what to look for, you'd never really see it. Likewise, the ventral secondary hull here. As it turns out, when I had done the decals originally, there was a row of escape hatches right here. When I applied them, they were misaligned, and I never noticed it. I never noticed it until just when I was getting ready to apply these decals just now. And because PNT's decals tend to be a little bit translucent, you can kind of see the outline of the old decals behind it. The other side, I was able to get them lined up close enough, and they're essentially the same shape and the same size and everything, so you can't really tell. But the other side, you can kind of see there's a little bit of misalignment. But again, it's the same with these. If you don't know what's there, you won't really notice it. You might just notice there's a little bit of weird color there. So anyway, another thing I wanted to mention that I don't think I have previously while working on this is the display stand. The old base, I think it still uses the same actual base, being the Starfleet emblem, but instead of having, like the old one had this arching plastic support that was pretty flimsy. I never built one of this kit, but it was a fairly standard display stand for AMT Star Trek kits at the time. Round 2, however, has kindly provided a metal support rod, which is wrapped with tape at the moment because I was using it from when I was painting this, and I just haven't unwrapped it yet. But it's a good, sturdy rod. In fact, I thought about bending it a little bit to try to change the angle, so it wasn't just, you know, dead level straight. And try as I might, I mean, I'm a big guy, and I cannot bend this thing with all my weight. I mean, I had this thing in a vise, and with all my weight, I could not bend it. I don't know why I was so crazy about trying to bend it, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. So yeah, it's a very sturdy metal support rod. Apart from that, now that these last decals are applied, Enterprise is essentially finished. I have to, I'm going to let the decals I've just applied dry until probably tomorrow. I think I'm working a long day, so it may end up being Saturday. And then once they have, then I'll hit it with a coat of Future to seal it, seal it all down. Then the following day I'll hit it with a coat of Flat Clear to finish it off. So I've really only got like 2 more little steps to do, and that'll probably be the first time I'll try out my spray booth in the new spot. in my new room. So I'm pretty excited about that, actually. And once this is finished, then I'm crossing my fingers. I am literally crossing my fingers. I'm not figuratively crossing my fingers. That the decal set for my Enterprise D finally comes soon. I have been waiting for it for almost as long as I was waiting for these. So since they came just last week and I ordered those a few days later, I'm hoping that they'll come later this week. So that I can finally get it finished, because just seeing it sitting there on my desk naked, it has no markings whatsoever. I haven't even used the kit's decals because they're 20 years old. I don't trust them for a second. Because I've had a lot of trouble with other older kits and 20-year-old decals. The decals on my Runabout, the one that I did last year with the lighting, which was also an AMT kit, I used the kit's decals, and I was able to make them work, but my God, they gave me no end of troubles. I'm just again crossing my fingers that they don't start to yellow on me, because I put a lot of work into that thing, and I would hate to see it ruined by bad decals. But anyway, so yeah, this will be finished by the end of the weekend, and then it'll be going up on permanent display, suspended from the ceiling next to my Enterprise B. So yeah, that'll be the end of that, and that'll be probably the last video I do for this too. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular video series. I'll be doing, when my Enterprise E decals come, I'll be doing a similar finish-up video for that, and then hopefully it'll be on to new things, like my Type 61 tank. Well, first of all, I have to fix the damage that occurred when moving last week, but that shouldn't be too difficult. So, happy modeling, everybody.